when you talk about the Kinks, to me, it's always just been the hits. I know all the hits. I actually got into an argument with Mark Maron, defending why I love Lola so much. I
That's
just think
good.
it's just such a fun song. And he was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he started sending me some of your deeper tracks that are, I mean, just I could go through them. I had listened to them in my phone, the ones that he sent me, but he just overloaded me with some great music from you guys. And one of them actually was the final song on this record, Waterloo Sunset. If I did get that right,
Waterloo Sunset.
which
Yeah.
is just great. And I mean, but he was like he was hitting me up with Last of the Steam and Picture Book and A Well Respected Man and Milk Cow
That period.
Blues.
That period.
The
Yeah.
one that I really dug that I'm just like obsessed with is jukebox music. It's just
Uh,
so just
yeah.
you guys just rock, man. And so I sit down. I'm getting ready to do this podcast. So of course we have a few of your records that are on this list, but today we're talking about Something Else by the Kinks.
Yeah.
So be
Okay.
so how when I say that name to you, Something Else by the Kinks, what's the first words that come to your mind when
But
I
a long time ago, I can't remember, 66, something like that, quite a while back, right at the beginning, or not quite.
it says you recorded it January through July 1967 and it was released on
So,
September 15th, 1967.
oh, about that, about right, kind of right, yeah.
Yeah. So what was going on with the band before you started working on this record? So before this you had Face to Face. Where was the band at before you guys sat down to start working on Something Else?
Oh, yeah, it's a long time ago. But I mean, we were continuously touring, trying to get exposure from we toured everywhere. We went to America for a bit, and that didn't work out too good. But we were touring, trying to break through a really vibrant music business at the time. With some great bands and great acts on going. Busy time, but something else was an interesting album. It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Okay. And so you sit down, you were touring. If I'm not mistaken, you had more time to work on this record, right? Like there was something had happened. Was this before or after you were banned, or am I right or am I wrong?
No, we were banned on the 65 US tour, and just some weird, I don't, we didn't understand the workings of the unions and the promoters, and it just went bad, and
Yeah.
we were banned 3 years. We came back to UK, and we what were we gonna do? So we started to write some music based on England, which seemed to make sense, and called the Village Green Preservation Society, and I think it was a wonderful record. And
Yeah.
my cat.
So when you were getting this little hiatus from touring,
Ah,
we'll call it. Oh, it's a cat.
yeah.
When you were getting this little touring hiatus, um, was that frustrating to watch people like the Beatles and the Stones get insanely popular in the United States?
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, and it was at the height of Woodstock as well, and it was a very difficult time for us.
Yeah,
But we had to move on, and Ray was writing some great tunes, songs, and writing some great work. So decided to record the Village Green album at that time, which we thought was wonderful, but I think the world thought we were going nuts. Yeah, we missed all the shenanigans of Woodstock and
Yeah,
what amazing time, but we weren't part of it. So we had kind of a not a hiatus, rather strange couple of years. We're trying to get back into the swing of things in America, but yeah, things always work out somehow.
of course. What like how long was the hiatus?
Well, like technically, I don't know. It's probably 3 to 4 years,
And that
and then when we did go back, we had an album called Arthur, and it was starting to pick up and being promoted, and it started to do quite well. And we went back to touring in America,
yeah.
and so we had to kind of build bridges and to kind of in a way start all over again. But we were lucky to have a really good backbone of Kinks fans at the time that were really helpful
Yeah.
and supportive. So we
Yeah, you powered
pushed our
through.
way
Yeah,
back.
you muscled through. You had to. I mean, but did you find that time that you were stuck from not touring? I mean, I feel like a lot of great music came from that. You know, it
And
was
that's
somebody.
when
I was talking to David about it, and he told me. Let me see if I can find it. He was talking about like so you're sitting down to make this record. You're not able to tour, and you were able to spend more time on this record. Is that right?
I guess yeah, loosely. And we're very proud of it. And it didn't do very well at the time. And what we were doing, this kind of a weird kind of concept album, but you know, over the years it served us well with the songs and the tracks.
I mean, let me. I'm not gonna lie to you, David. This is the first full Kings record I've listened to all the way through, and I put this on actually on a ride through New Jersey. I don't know why you have to go to New Jersey sometimes, but I did that day. I think I had a show, and I put it on
Right.
as I was driving at night, and I mean, right from the beginning of it, it just caught me. And I mean, there was so much stuff that stuck out. You know, like Death of a Clown, which which I started reading about.
Well, something else, right?
Pardon?
Something else, the album.
Oh yeah, we're doing something else. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
so I'm listening. So I'm listening to Death of a Clown. I started talking to David about it, and so this is you wrote Death of a Clown, right? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah, yeah.
So like I have to know this because this is lyrically, you know, before that you're about 20 years old and you're partying, and this song is about the death of all of that. Like to be 20 years old and realizing, you know,
Yeah,
you got to give that up. Like, how did you have,
it
like, how did?
wasn't.
Go ahead.
No, it was more like I done lots of partying, hanging around, and I reflected on the fact that you know, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? It seemed like I got to a point where I was becoming a little bit not fed up, but confused about what I was doing and where I was going, and that's the birth of Death of a Clown came up during that
Yeah.
soul searching, if you like, and this little guitar riff came through, and we built Death of a Clown based on this little funny little Stoker's melody, really.
Yeah. So there
But
wasn't there. So you're saying there wasn't like it wasn't an incident. It was just you just were able to have that kind of conscious moment and be like, wow,
yeah,
it's like it's really impressive.
Yeah, what am I doing? And clubbing. Oh, it's fun. To, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was,
hanging out and partying. But you know, even good things can go a bit sour.
100%. Was the band partying hard at that time? I mean, were you guys were all young, I'm assuming, and
Yeah,
you're
Yeah, we were not as much as I was, but it was there, of course, at that time of like newness and trying out new ideas, and I was becoming a bit disillusioned in my own life, so I started to write about it, and that's what happened. And Death of a Cloud became a big worldwide hit.
Yeah. And what's cool about that song, and I think most of the record is that I went back and I listened to some of the albums before this, and the sound of Something Else is, I mean, I hate this to be such a bland word, but it's just so different from the previous records. And a lot of it has to do, I think, with your guitar. I mean, this is like the birth of almost distortion in guitar. And it's like, when you sat down to make this record, were these holdover songs from previous albums? Because I saw that, and there's so much, I mean, I have so much different stuff I want to talk about, but it's like, did you come into this record with a process in mind of what you wanted to do, or did you have a couple of songs that were held over from a previous record, or was everything just fresh, original, we're doing it together right now?
Yeah, I think it's very much the fact that the record company wanted us to make another record, and we went in. Ray had some great ideas for tunes, songs. We just went in the studio, put these ideas together, and it just happened by itself. Happened on its own. So that was really all. We just thought we were making another record, and then the process kicked in. So, yeah.
Hold on.
Great days, though.
Huh?
Great days, lovely days.
Oh yeah. So this was a record. Let me see if I can pull this up. So this was a record. Your previous records, I'm sorry, were produced mostly by Shell.
Oh, on the early records, yeah. Okay. And we had it. I mean, I saw a show only a couple of years ago in LA, and it was lovely to see him. I was playing the Roxy on Sunset.
Great venue. I've played that many times.
I love it.
I love the Roxy. And then when you're done, you go over to the Rainbow.
That's what you do, right?
Yeah, you go over to the Rainbow, and I mean, a few years ago, Lemmy would be there playing Keno,
propping up the restaurant.
Yeah. It's like a place that doesn't feel like it should be selling Italian food, but for some reason it is, and you're like, I don't think anybody Italian is even in this establishment, not even the customers.
I've only ever been there to drink. I wouldn't even know what the food tastes like. But no, it's part of LA history, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. We would do a show there, and then there's this really famous shot in the green room of Bob Marley talking to John Lennon in the green room of the Roxy, and then you'd look at the picture on the wall, and then you'd be standing in the exact spot that they were talking, and you're just like, man, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I'm very fond of the Strip and Hollywood in that time. I'm very fond of it. I lived there for a while in the hills. And excuse my cat.
No, the cats. Please keep the cat in. It's awesome. I love cats. It's also, I love the way you have the camera set up with the cat. It's like, it just looks like this blurry gray mob, and then it just comes up. You're like, oh, it's a cat. If you love LA so much, I mean, how did you somehow end up in New Jersey? What part of New Jersey you in?
No, off the record, I'm in New Jersey. But no, I met this beautiful girl, and I'm with Rebecca, and we spend a lot of time in New Jersey. And but because of the weird COVID thing over the last few years,
yeah,
We've been trying to go backwards and forwards with great difficulty.
Sure, sure.
But hopefully traveling's going to be a lot easier now. Because it's all I've ever done is travel. Picking guitar, go on the road, it's like hotel rooms, different city. I mean, you know
Totally.
how it works.
All right, let's talk about some of the writing process for this record. You know, when we had mentioned, it says Ray took over producing for the record, or was it Shell? Because it says it's listed as
Shell kind of phased out, but he was fine. We've always been really good pals with Shell, and but Ray was kind of taking over the creative process in the studio, so things were changing slightly in different way. And the sound, like you said, the sound of the record.
Yeah. Did you, so you're saying, so Ray took over most of the production, but when we come to the tracks, did you get more of a say in your tracks? Because you have, if I'm not mistaken, you have 3 songs and like 3 vocals on this.
I can't remember exactly, but yeah, there was Clown and 2 other songs. I can't remember the.
We got this here. I got it right here. You got Death of a Clown, Love Me Till the Sun Shines.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Funny Face.
Yes.
I got all the notes, dude. I'm inside your head right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually the cat.
Yeah. Phenomenal cat.
So I mean, you have 3 songs on this. Like, you know, like how was the writing process? Was there a lot of arguments? Was it smooth? Like I know the relationship with you and your brother is, you know, I don't know the full history of it, but I can only imagine what it's like being in a band with someone that you know so well. You know, would you? Well, I'll get to that question because I want to get to that later. Let's talk about the writing process. Like, what was that like? What was that like when you guys working together?
Well, I stopped writing, but well, no, actually, it went quite well because everybody was in a hurry and everybody was in a rush to get things done, and it kind of did flow quite easily for us, and it was, you know, it's one of my favorite early records. Something else, you know, I had more involvement in the writing process, but
Yeah,
but it was generally a time of growth for the Kinks.
well,
Experimentation.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is people say that because you weren't allowed back into the United States to tour, you wrote and made some of your best records during that time.
Yeah, in a way, sometimes that happens when you kind of get back against the wall a bit. You use a different time reference or time frame, really, in a way. So it was, but I was quite happy to be back in England that time when we were band. And I think we did some great music.
Great music.
But obviously, it was so great to get back into New York and touring again. And we had to really virtually start all over again. But really good fan base.
Solid fit, yeah, but still, it's like you lose all those years and you're not able to go out and see everybody. And, you know, at the time, that's when, you know, music is taking such a different turn and the world is changing and people are changing.
I mean, Vietnam was on the horizon. Stop it.
What's the cat's name?
Christy. Stop it. He bites harder when he hears his name. He's a feral cat. He's very sweet. What we're talking about? Right?
We're talking about not being on tour, making this record, spending more time. you know, are you, let me ask you this, because we have some other stuff to talk about too, but to put a button on this, are you proud of the music that you made? Like, do you think this is your best work when you guys weren't allowed to tour? Do you think, you know, I know people say that, but do you think that?
I don't know. You just kind of do what you're doing. I think you get, I tend to not get too bogged down in the emotion of it, although it's a roller coaster, really.
Yeah.
The music business is such an up, down, crazy, you know that. But I thought we did some. I love all of our work. I know it sounds a bit obvious, but I think all the different areas and times of the Kinks have all been really rewarding. When you look back, they've all been so rewarding for their own special reason.
Yeah.
And of course, touring is so important for bands, all bands,
Yeah.
whether they current or from 60s or from what.
Yeah.
So,
No, I get it. A track I want to talk about is track 3 off the record, Two Sisters.
oh,
There's I know that while you and your brother aren't the actual subjects of the song, there are a lot of parallels there. Like one is introverted, the sisters, one is extroverted. Is it weird writing and releasing songs that speaks to a relationship with both a band member and not only just a band member but your brother?
actually, no, I think it helps because I think it helps pad out the emotions of the piece more. I think we tend to, the Kinks are really, throughout all of history, has been a family-based setup. Not even the songs that don't directly resonate might resonate another time through, like a fable, or you borrow from everything. You borrow from the people you know, from the people you meet, and that's whole joy of creative work.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you can plan this and plan that to do that, but you never really know what's going to happen to actually do it, really, I don't think.
Yeah.
Or the best stuff comes out of a lot of those moments where you're not quite sure.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing about modern music.
But when you're working with family, I mean, it's like I said, it's like
Oh,
I up and down. Yeah, I love my sister to death, but when we have arguments, it can be like blowout arguments because we're family and we know there's a basis of love underneath that. You know, I don't know, and excuse me for not knowing if there's like a history of it, but if would you say that the relationship you had with your brother while in the band and while working on it, I mean, was it smooth sailing or was it like Oasis?
well, it was never smooth sailing.
Yeah,
When it was going good, it was great.
sure.
But when when it was bad, it was pretty rough. But the thing is, though, sometimes a lot of great feelings or ideas come out of turmoil, problems, and I think a lot of them. I think generally the music really benefited by
The
me and
turmoil.
Meyers.
Yeah, the emotions. Yeah.
Oh yeah, rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll, baby. Let me ask you this: when you if you had to rate the scale of turmoil in the making of this record between 1 and 10, where would you put it? 10 being fucking insane, 1 being rainbows and lollipops.
Oh God, difficult. I guess 4.5.
4.5. That's pretty good.
That's madness. The madness It's about 4.5. But yeah, you're right. It fluctuates between exhilaration and oh man, my hair. But that happens. That unfortunately, that's a part of the creative process.
Yeah,
Is like you have to be a bit mad,
sure.
but you got to be a bit sensible if you can.
No, 100%. Was there any what track or on this record would you say caused the most amount of friction between the two of you?
One of the tracks I do like is the track you mentioned.
Which one?
Two Sisters.
Two Sisters, yeah.
Yeah, and I always have interesting feeling. It's like a true story, but it isn't. It's like a fable. It's I really do like that track. But I'm very fond of the whole record. I love that record.
It's so great. When you founded the Kinks, was there like a musical goal that you had in mind, or were you just a bunch of kids having fun?
A job.
You just wanted money.
No, it wasn't. I was so excited about the prospect of playing my guitar in front of an audience.
Yeah.
That was like a driving force. And like, no, it wasn't about money. That everything in the end becomes an issue about money.
Sure.
But it was pure youthful exuberance, really, just to get out and play and meet people and enjoy. But it's up one time, it's down. You got to put up with all these shades of color on the way. It's not just one color. It's like a painting, continue to be painted.
Yeah.
But,
Did you did you have like this very deep interest in music as a kid? Like what was it that you and your brother shared from an early age to even consider being in a band together?
We grew up in a big working class family. So we had six sisters and extended family, uncles. It was a big family. Mm-hmm. And obviously there was a lot of music to draw from. Like everything from being a kid. Everything was music in our house. From like the 30s to like my sisters liked the movies and the Oklahoma and South Pacific, all those great musicals, was seeped into our consciousness as well. Goals, everything did in the growing up, and Ray and I were big fans of people like Rick Nelson and the Benches were great, and Johnny and the Hurricanes, and Johnny Cash was a big influence. But although he wasn't considered rock and roll, but I thought it was really rock and roll. He was really at the heart of it, with Chuck Berry and with all these great players. But it was an interesting time, wonderful time.
Yeah. Well, that was that like, you and your brother are growing up in a house with, you're the youngest of 8.
Yeah.
Youngest of 8. There's only 2 boys out of that.
Well, yeah, we loved music. It was like an instinctual thing.
Yeah.
We talk about it was that generation, but there was so much happening at that time in fashion, in movies. Movies were starting to break out, and like the working class aspect of society really tried was breaking through into the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
So, look at you, bit me. and it was a very interesting time for all facets of art and music and clothes, clothing.
Yeah.
Incredible time.
But you had mentioned like some of the people that you had mentioned that were influences on you. I would never, I mean, I can hear maybe like a part of some of that in some of your music, but for the most part, like experimental sound is like the hallmark of your music. You know, the band was very ahead of its time. Like, what really touched off your interest in making this new kind of sound and testing the limits of like, musical equipment and like that kind of thing?
Well, I think when I was young, I was kind of very interested in science fiction. And I think
Ooh.
there's a point when science fiction does meet with music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was new. Science fiction it seemed like it's about something new, which it's only new to it if we never experienced it before. But now music, and I was a big fan of sci-fi, and but I thought it was all a part. It was all a part of that great time of ideas, new ideas, and I was always searching as a kid, searching for new ideas, whether it's guitar or
Christy,
come on, where are you?
if this is all the listeners, if you are just listening to this, there's been a cat that has walked through the frame for 80% of this. And to be honest with you, I need it more. I need more cat. I want more cat.
You might have it whether you want it or not.
Yeah, dude. My dog Lecca will like poke her head out like every once in a while, but she can't get on the table. She's too big. Well, do you think that experimental sound is kind of what helped you develop like your guitar? Like,
Yeah,
it's I gotta say this because you really went for it. On this record, like what was the guitar process like rhythm versus lead?
well, I learned fairly early on playing in the band, and because we had relatives that played, and I had a brother-in-law have a brother-in-law, Mike, that was kind of into jazz and playing Django Reinhardt and Big Blue Brunswick. Are you frozen?
No, I'm here.
It's my screen. Excuse me.
I was like, am I staring?
No, it's me. Don't worry. It's fun. And so I used to pick up little jazz riffs and folk music. And of course, the music isn't just about one style of music or one genre. I mean, when it was jazz influences and Fats Waller influences, Fats Domino, I mean, a host of these great musicians that were coming to the fore at that time. It was talk about influences, like everything from, too many names to mention.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously, a lot of the 50s music was a big breakthrough in consciousness, really, and dance and movement, and the whole everything that was going on, incredible. And musicians, and like the Everly Brothers, and
well,
it goes on.
I mean, I was just thinking about some of the people that you guys have influenced. I mean, so many different people have covered Kinks songs. I mean, you have Van Halen doing their version of "You Really Got Me." What do you think of that? Like, what do you think of the Van Halen version?
It's funny because at the time, I thought, I wasn't sure but I heard it a few times. I really ended up really liking it. I mean, that's the ultimate flattery, really, with a musician trying to copy or emulate stuff he'd done. So it was lovely. I love that record. Well, I don't think it's as gritty and as honest as
Yeah.
the original.
Yeah, but also from this record, you have the Jam, a very British band, the Jam.
Yeah,
They covered David Watts. What do you like? Do you like that version?
yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's more serious kind of hook on the song, but the music, I love the Jam. I used to take my young sons to Jam concerts, sitting on my shoulders.
Oh, that's awesome.
I used to love it. Loved it all.
What do you think about the young bands doing Kinks songs? Like, what do you have any favorite versions? Any ones that really stick out to you? It's like,
No,
yeah, dude.
I love it. I really love it. And this incredible version of King songs. I recently heard a version of, what's it called? It's funny, my screen keeps freezing.
It might be just me staring. I'm a starer.
No, I didn't notice it beforehand. It's all right. No, it's been some amazing covers of Kinks songs.
Yeah. Any ones that your particular favorites?
I'm trying to think where I put my notes.
Adam, is there like a little website you could pull up with some of the Kinks covers?
Good point.
Yeah, Adam's gonna pull that up. So let me see what else before he'll pull it up. Don't worry. And then here, let's see what I have next. All right, let's talk about the references to soldiers and soldiering. This is it's a skew, but I have so many good questions.
Yeah, but it is relevant because it's we made an album that Ray wrote a theme or a script for a film called in 1968-69, just before we went back to the States, just about the time of the Vietnam thing was started to break. That's when the whole mental shifting consciousness, really, for everybody.
Yeah.
And there was Ray wrote one of my favorite Kinks albums called Arthur and the Decline of the British Empire. And there's some very poignant and moving tracks on the album.
There's Yes Sir, No Sir, immediately followed by Some Mother's Son,
which has always been a favorite of mine.
That's one of your favorites. What is so like why these songs? Why what do the soldiers represent in these songs? Is it just flat out like military stuff, or is it was there deeper?
It's like you're picking up information you glean from your family and your mum and dad, and their reminiscences about the war, the Second World War. We're still very much in the air, it's very. So war would have been the subject we were reminiscent about, but also we had a brother-in-law who was desperate to move my sister and their son to Australia. That was the time in the 60s when everybody wanted to go to Australia for some reason. And so my sister emigrated with Arthur. The land opportunity, but it was so it was a lot of change. and they were reflected in a lot of her music, of course, which Ray wrote the bulk of anyway. And there's this underlying thread, I think, with Kinks music that is very connected to a family.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you write, you can only write about what you know about the people in it. But it's very connected to family and family history and such.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Waterloo Sunset because it's classic. I mean, we just pulled up. Adam just pulled up. I had no idea that Peter Townsend had called Waterloo Sunset divine and a masterpiece. And then you've had David Bowie.
I agree.
Yo, no, man, go ahead for it. It's Christy the Cat's favorite song.
No, she's gonna slip. Yeah. No, but really, to be honest, I'm a big fan of my brother's writing and his work, and but you know, like any family member, sometimes we'd fight, scream at each other, but in the end, you're still family and you're in together. So you got to shape up and get the work done. You know, it's not. No.
Did you ever have a moment though? I know because I want to talk about Waterloo Sunset, but you had just mentioned that. Did you ever have a moment that was there ever a fight between you and your brother where you thought the band might be coming to an end?
Yes, quite a few times. And one was probably in the sort of near beginning. After about 3 or 4 years, I thought, oh God, I can't do this for a job. And then it became a profession, became a part of my real life. And oh, good fights. But I think all the fights or disagreements or creative challenges will help the music, I think. When you look back through all this music, it served to support music. You know, knock things into shape. Right? That's why disagreement and argument can be productive.
Yeah.
You know, so imagine making a film without a problem, a movie with this writing guys and script writers or rewriting scripts every day, or you know, the creative world is very vast. Feelings and attitudes, and I like this, and we're very lucky to be involved in such incredible area of investigation. That's what it is. It's kind of like a trip, man. It's exploration. When sometimes we don't even know what it is.
Wait, you're aren't you into Alien? You're is that like? I think did Dave mention that to me? Am I wrong? Like you're into aliens or something?
He might have done, but I have a lot of interest. I've got a lot of interest in alternate, you know,
universes.
And as we mentioned earlier in the beginning, I've done that. I'm an old Trekkie as well.
Ah, that's what it is. Yeah, so, dude. Final Frontier, bro.
Yeah, once bitten, you know, you found
it. Yeah, man.
And I think that William Shatner was a very underrated actor and performer. His performance and some others really, I know they seem hammy, but they poignant and makes you think.
Yeah.
You know?
I got before because we only got a few minutes left, and I got to start wrapping this up, dude. You rule, man. Dave, you are the. I was very nervous about doing this because, like I said, sometimes you get like the rock star that's a little stuffy, and you just rule. You're awesome.
Oh,
So
bless
thank you
you.
so much. All right. So like, cause we got to talk about this and then I got to do my final questions.
Yeah.
But so the last question is, cause I was talking about Waterloo Sunset. Did you guys have any idea that you had a hit on your hands when you recorded Waterloo?
I think what you do, you have a sniff of it at the beginning when when I'm working with Ray and this could be something. But you're never sure. How do you know? You're
Yeah.
never sure. But Waterloo Sunset was a great piece of writing, apart from anything else.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And I'm a big fan of Ray. I could hit him sometimes. It's right hard.
All right, well, let's do some Patreon questions and we'll get out of here. So we have people that pay so basically pay Adam's bill to do that. I think I have no idea. But they write in some questions, so we put this up on the message board, and this is from Eric. So there's 3 Kinks albums on the 2012 list. Which ones do we have them listed here? Adam, what are they? What are the 3 records? You have 3 records in the 500 greatest albums list. Isn't that fucking cool? That's fucking
Okay,
awesome.
so let's see here. The Kinks are the Village Green Preservation Society, and the Kink Chronicles were the other 2 albums to come in on the list.
All right, did you get that?
Oh.
Did you get that, Dave? All right, so
Yeah.
do you feel those 3 albums represents the Kings' contributions to music properly?
Not really, no. I think what came after formed the bulk of what Kinksness is, or Kinks music is. Because in the 80s we had one of our most successful times in America with albums like Give the People What They Want. And, we were always a touring band.
Yeah.
And after those shaky few years back in America, we built up quite a following and did many tours stateside. So no, I think that although I love those albums you mentioned, I think there's a big history to come
Of the Kinks, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you think, all right, so this is his follow-up question, is this record something else, a good introduction for someone who wasn't familiar with the Kinks music, or would you recommend something like Village Green Preservation Society or another? So if you were somebody who was like, I've never heard of the Kinks, and you were like, this is your introduction, what would you recommend?
Oh well, I think the thing about the Kinks that I think's important to know, if you don't know us anyway, is the fact it's very diverse.
Yeah.
It's you play one record and it sounds like it's a different band. I mean,
Yeah.
because their influences are so broad from growing up in London and the touring. I mean, there's a lot of music. Over many years, a lot of influences. So it's really hard to pigeonhole the Kinks, I think. I think it's what's exciting about the
For
band.
sure. Oh, dude, I when I listen to this record and with all the other songs that I would say are your like top on Spotify, like the most played, it's insane. This is not what I was expecting. You know, when you really because I said, dude, Lola is like one of my favorite songs ever. I love that song so much. I don't know. It's like, but that sounds nothing like your music. What I really
it sounds nothing like Arthur, and nothing like what came after it.
I gotta ask you this because Mark Maron is gonna bust my chops. It's like, do you guys love Lola? Or are you guys like, fuck that song? Like, do you love it or?
There used to be a time when I'd say, "Oh, not again," but now it's such a part of my life and the Kinks' history.
Yeah,
I embrace it full on.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Fuck you, Mark Maron. I'm just kidding. All right. Last question from the Patreon, and then we'll do our rapid fires. This is from Maddie. We've already kind of talked to this, but I think you can sum this all up right now. Who won more of their fights, you or your brother Ray?
That's funny. I don't really know. I like to think the maybe evens.
Even Steven?
Yeah.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it, dude.
But he's crafty.
He's Dude, you rule, Dave. You rule. Oh, I love you. All right, I'm going to ask you these final questions. These are I asked these to everybody, and I'm not going to change them now. I didn't ask him for a toll, but we couldn't. That was a Sadie episode, so we had to skedoodle on that. All right, but I'm very excited. So being that this is your record, okay, and I'm going to phrase these a little bit differently. The first song is, what song on this record are you most proud of? Like, what is your favorite song on Something Else by the Kinks?
If I can remember them.
David Watts, Death of a Clown, Two Sisters, No Return, Harry Rag, Tin Soldier Man, Situation Vacant. By the way, all great names.
They're so different. These songs are so different.
Love Me Till the Sun Shines, Lazy Old Sun, Afternoon Tea, Funny Face, End of the Season, and Waterloo Sunset.
Wow. A lot of stuff. Now I think that obviously I have to fade a song called Funny Face, because it's a song about a relationship, indirectly about a woman, a girl I was in love with at the time, and
was that Lisbeth? Was that Lisbeth?
Well, no, it would have been like school days.
Oh wow!
It would be from school days, and so I'm very fond of that. But all the titles, I've got memories that relate back to some of the taught. Harry Rag's a funny track.
Harry Rag's great.
And it's obviously they're all great.
They're all great. All right. Well, here, let's do. All right. So because you can't really come to a conclusion on that one, here's a different thing. What about on this record? Is there anything that you're just like, like not this song again? Like, anything that you skip over?
I was saying earlier, Josh, that at one time I used to think like that about certain songs, but I think as you grow up, get into your music more, you realize how interesting all these different songs are and how important they are to each other.
Yeah.
It's like an art. I don't want to be pretentious.
No, I get it. Totally.
It's like an art gallery.
No, it's and sometimes you need to sit with it, and you can't just look at it once. You have to like sit and really absorb it.
Absolutely.
All right. Sorry. So I'm asking you this question. I ask it to everybody. Adam, this is the clip. All right. This is a two-part question. One, it's a little dirty, but you seem cool with this kind of stuff. Can you fuck to this record? And if you had to have sex to this record, what song would you put on your sex playlist? So can you have sex to this album?
I think you can have sex if you want. But I think, I think you really got me. The first record is definitely, it's like about a guy who wants a girl and he wants to be with her.
Yeah.
That's like the whole essence of growing up, being a man, and find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Far of all that, definitely say you really got me.
I love it.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. All right, last question, if you can. This is your elevator pitch to get somebody to listen to Something Else by the Kinks. If you were in an elevator, you had 30 seconds with somebody, not even that much time. What would you say to somebody to get them to listen to Something Else by the Kinks?
Well, after hi, all right, Rebecca. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a photo for your Instagram.
Okay.
Hi, Rebecca.
Instagram for
Josh, Rebecca.
Hi.
I'm just taking a candid photo.
Okay.
No, you're good.
You can come in at the right time.
You should have a look at Dave's Instagram. There's a lot of fun stuff on there.
Oh, dude, you
Candid
rule.
photography.
Hi.
Bye. Okay, I'll disappear.
All right, what were you saying? What were you saying? You got to get somebody to elevator pitch. What are you going to get somebody to say? What do you say to somebody to get them to listen to this record?
Well, after the first hour of me being in a panic because I can't stand confined spaces on an elevator ride.
Yeah. You're freaking out.
I don't know. Oh, God. I'd have to make a musical mash of something. You know, sometimes when you say you panic, you kind of want to have a mash of music.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's got to be. I think All Day and All of the Night is the most freeing song, track, piece of vinyl, Kinks track that's stimulating on many levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No, this was great. That was great. That was perfect. Please promote away. What do you have coming up? Tell the audience where they can find you and just you get, I know if you have any, if you're on the road or what's going on, just this, so everybody can reach out.
We have Kinks have re-released albums out this week and leading up through Christmas, and next year is going to be a big year for re-releases, and so it's a very happening time for the Kinks. So a movie, we're making a movie,
Nice.
a real film, what I call a real movie, and a biopic, and it's a lot happening.
But so everybody, be on the lookout. It's gonna next year, 2023, going to be a big year for the Kinks. And if you've never listened if this is the first time you've listened to the Kinks, go back, listen to the stuff before this, listen to the stuff after this. But just support you, Dave. I can't thank you enough, man. You really made this very easy for me. You're a great guy. Thank you for being so cool. And whatever that is that you have, never lose that, because you are awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out to speak with us today.
Thank you, Josh. Great to meet you, man.